What's up, Acolyte Squad? My name is Prince, and I'm an urban acolyte. Hey, man, Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever came out here early. I saw it yesterday. Wakanda Forever. Hey, man, if some of y'all remember some of the videos that I posted shortly after the unexpected passing of Chadwick Boseman, I was not happy with some of the news that I was hearing as far as the direction that this rewritten movie would go. As you know, the director, Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Coogler. He had Black Panther 2, the sequel, already planned out. It was written. Chadwick Boseman was expecting to beat cancer and start training to get ready to play T'Challa, resume the role as T'Challa in Black Panther Part 2, whatever that sequel was going to be, that unfortunately did not happen due to the passing of Chadwick Boseman, right? So there was all this stuff about Shuri having a bigger role in the movie. People saying, well, in the story, in the comic book, Shuri becomes Black Panther. My stance, I mean, up until only my friend Keandre, one of my former students, when I was teaching special ed back in Nashville, he was on a live stream that I did on my personal channel, which most of y'all don't even know about. But Keandre and I had a conversation while we were in Chiang Mai. He was along to see me look at I don't remember, it was some kind of gardens up in the mountains outside Chiang Mai, Thailand, on Monday. And I told him that, yo, I think that Shuri is going to be the new Black Panther. It's going to follow the comic books, and that at some point T'Challa will return. I don't know how they'll do it, but T'Challa will return, and he will resume the role of Black Panther, and that I'm expecting Shuri to become not only the tech genius, but she'll also become some kind of spiritual character, just like we've been seeing in the Moon Knight series, where you had these avatars of the Egyptian pantheon. We actually saw Bast, who's the Panther goddess, who kind of empowers the Black Panther in a sense. We actually saw her in Thor Love and Thunder. So I said I could see Shuri kind of becoming an avatar of Bast, and then T'Challa becoming the Black Panther once again. But I said we'll have to see the movie and see how that works out. And after the first teaser trailer for Wakanda Forever, I was like, yo, I don't think I want to see this movie. I actually posted it on my social media. I'm not Mike Zero. I don't have inside sources at Lucasfilm, but I do know some black creatives in Hollywood, black filmmakers who have worked with Marvel. My big cousin Ben Ramsey almost kicked off the MCU back in the 90s. He did a screenplay for Luke Cage under the direction of Stan Lee, the great creator himself. So, if you didn't know that, the MCU almost kicked off back in the 90s, right? So Ben and some of his colleagues, just me reading conversations that they were having on Facebook, including some of the people in his network who actually did work on Wakanda Forever. They were like, just give it a chance. But a lot of people were like, yo, man, after that first teaser, it felt too much like a eulogy, right? It felt like, we're getting kicked in the nuts all over again about Chadwick Boseman passing. A lot of these people, I'm not just talking about some fanboy geeks making a lot of noise on Twitter. These are people who work in Hollywood, who have worked on other MCU projects. They were all on hashtag team recast T'Challa, right? Or like, Chad would not want this role to end with him, right? But what I was hearing was, and that was the official from, what's her name, Victoria Alonso, who's like a big executive producer. I might have butchered her name, but she put out the official statement, so did Kevin Feige, that our king is dead, and the role is gonna end with Chadwick Boseman. So with me hearing all of that, I'm like, yo, man, I don't know if I really want to see this Wakanda Forever movie. Like, I might just Disney Plus this. At the time, I know there's one guy who likes to throw stuff in my face. Like, you said you were going to India. You said you weren't going to see the movie because you'd be in India. Well, this is news. The first time I'm saying this on YouTube, but I posted it on social media. We got a surprise that my wife is 4 months pregnant. So Acolyte baby is due sometime around Chinese New Year. So that yeah, we the India thing, that's why we're not in India now, and we took the trip to Phuket and Chiang Mai and all of that, and now we're back home, and we might not be doing too much traveling anytime soon because baby Acolyte is on the way, and I don't know. We've already got a name. I don't know if I want to tell y'all her name. So baby Acolyte is changed my views on a lot of stuff. Even some stuff that I felt about this movie, right? But that's getting into spoiler territory, and I don't know how when you guys are watching, if you're watching live or you're catching a replay, let me know. Put a hashtag live if you're watching this live in the chat, or hashtag replay down in the comments if you're watching the replay, right? But I am gonna get into some spoiler territory, so I'll let you guys know when I'm gonna start talking about spoilers, so that if you, because I guess you guys probably won't be able to see the movie for a couple of more hours in the US if you're watching it on opening night. But so I don't want to spoil anything, so let me give you my non-spoiler review real quick, because it's actually after midnight here. And somebody, Prince, you've been smoking weed, haven't you? Weed is legal in Thailand now, right? I've been seeing on them Thailand channels, they got weed places everywhere. Well, I don't partake of the sticky icky, even though my stepson wants to have a huge weed farm when he finishes university. So that might be my retirement, but I will not partake of the good weed for that whole no intoxicants part of Buddhism, unless you need it for medicinal purposes only, right? It's hard to practice mindfulness when when you blowed. If anybody disagrees with that, that's fine. That's up to you, right? But I'm just talking about me and my personal choices, right? So anyway, as I was saying, getting back to the topic, let's get into the non-spoiler stuff, right? So, like I said, I really wasn't intending to see this movie, but I saw, oh, it's coming out in Thailand a day early or 2 days early. Let's go see it. I've seen some of the trailers. I really don't see a lot of trailers and stuff anymore, but we went and saw Black Adam, so I saw the Wakanda Forever like full trailer, the most recent one, the big one, when we went to see Black Adam, and I was like, yo, man, it actually looks like it might be pretty good. It doesn't feel like a huge eulogy and funeral and all the sadness and crying and everything from that first teaser trailer. Now that I've seen the movie, I understand more than before, but like I said, that's going to get to the spoiler part of the video, and I'll let y'all know when that's coming. So after having seen the movie, it's been what, it's been like 36 hours at this point. I feel like I'm living in the future over here. um I'm actually glad that I've seen it, and I actually uh at least twice during the movie, like I said, when I get to spoilers I'll tell you specifically when, but at least twice during the movie, yo, man, the allergies were kicking in, right? I was glad that I had my handkerchief on deck. I didn't use it, but I thought I was going to need it a few times, at least twice during the movie, right? So this is probably, for me, this is the most serious Marvel movie to date. Like, even like Endgame, Infinity War were serious movies, but I think I did a review video for a non-spoiler review. I think I did. I don't remember. At least for Infinity War, where I was like, it felt like a race. Like, it's just constant action. The story, there were no like really lulls in the story. This this was different. It was very different. I don't think there's any other Marvel movie that's like this was, right? Um, of course the topic with where's T'Challa, that comes up. Uh I felt like it honored Chadwick Boseman, the actor, the man, and the character of T'Challa, King of Wakanda. I felt like it honored that actor's passing. Um, usually we get the Marvel, the MCU thing where you get all Marvel. This one was all just Chadwick Boseman, right? So from the beginning, it's like Chadwick Boseman passed. He's the Black Panther, and he's not here, right? And I don't want to say more till I get to the spoiler part because yeah, but questions that you go into the movie asking, I feel like they answered all of them. They answer everything. If you walk out of this movie with any more questions, it will be questions that arise because of the story and the plot and things. So, people that go and looking for plot holes, I don't feel like there were any plot holes. Maybe if you're expert, if you're one of those people that watches these Marvel movies with a fine tooth comb, yeah, you'll probably find some plot holes. But I feel like it addressed a lot of things, and the things that it didn't address that were, as far as the story is concerned, I think that was setting up other things. So another thing I'll say as far as non-spoiler stuff, I definitely, if you're trying to, because a lot of people have been complaining about phase 4 Marvel, like where's it going, there's no direction here. If you're one of those people and you're trying to see all the pieces and how they fit together, you should see this movie, because I feel like it set up Thunderbolts. I didn't see. I have a lot of thoughts about stuff, but I haven't really been recording videos on this channel lately. Man, I appreciate the super chatting, and thanks again. And that George, that $10 would definitely go towards something for Alexis. So I'm telling, well, my wife is listening to other rooms, so $10 is 300 baht. We're getting ready to go shopping, a little more than 300 baht, I think. We're getting ready, it's like 360 baht. So we're getting ready to start our shopping for the baby, and we'll definitely, that'll buy a rattle or something for her, a bottle. I don't know. It's going to go towards her, though. So I appreciate that. So anyway, like I was saying, I feel like this set up some other projects like the Thunderbolts. Um, like I said, I got to start doing more Marvel stuff, because I'm watching all of these shows, and it's like I have thoughts in my mind like, well, my Marvel videos don't get a lot of views, and they don't get a lot of views because I don't make a lot of Marvel videos regularly. I haven't been making any videos on this channel regularly, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if I want people to see more of my Marvel stuff, I got to start talking about Marvel more, right? Which is, I got new equipment coming in, and this live stream, it might be kind of choppy. We're getting ready to get fiber speed internet so I can live stream more often. I got to upgrade and everything. This is a new microphone. I'm getting another new microphone for live streams. I got a new camera here, a new camera down there. Got to get new lenses, right? So there's a lot of major upgrades coming before baby Acolyte gets here, and then that's a huge upgrade for my life. And she's played a part in kind of the changing direction for this channel, where Star Wars, all the stuff is for kids, and I'm trying to bring up a little lady now to be a fan of this stuff, and to realize that man, she can grow up to be the hero of her own story. All right, so getting back to what I was saying, though, this there I felt like, all right, so we got the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We know Thunderbolts is coming. We got I started saying, well, yeah, Deadpool is coming too, but I didn't necessarily I wasn't meaning to say Deadpool, but Daredevil, right? There's Hawkeye, right? What is Hawkeye and Kate Bishop? There's something going on that maybe all of this will play. They'll all be involved in what's the Nick Fury project that's coming out too, that's going to involve Shield, Secret Wars. Maybe they all deal with Secret Wars, but I felt like there's some kind of conflict that's happening on Earth, right? So these kind of Earth-based heroes, not the cosmic superpower leveled Captain Marvel and Thor and Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, interdimensional stuff. We got Kang coming, and you know where you got to bring your big heavy hitters. But I mean, people like Sam is Captain America now, and he has no super soldier serum. And what is he doing, right? What's going on just on Earth? So I felt like that there's gonna be like the bigger conflict, but then you might have these little smaller in the sense of it's not a cosmic level threat where Thanos snaps out, half of all of the life in the known universe. What story is there? And I feel like this movie gave us a huge piece of the puzzle, right? Where you can start to kind of piece things together, right? So if you're interested in that, definitely go see this movie, right? If you want to know how do they handle the Chad thing and who's the next Black Panther and what's going on with Wakanda, go see it. Black Panther, I said this in my non-spoiler review for the first Black Panther movie. I was like, yo man, black folks came out to see this movie. I have friends who went out to see it. They don't watch nothing Marvel, but they went to see Black Panther, right? Now they're probably not watching this video. But if that was you like, yo man, the Black Panther was dope. There was the whole black girl magic going on thing. Yo, if you want to see black girl magic, go see this movie, right? That's the most I can say without getting into spoilers. But this is all black girl magic, right? And I'm kicking myself because I never posted my full review of Black Panther. That Marvel movie, I've seen that movie more than any other MCU film. Like I saw it on opening night. I went back, like, so that would have been a Thursday night. I went back, I saw it on a Saturday morning. I saw it on a Sunday. I took my phone with me to take notes so I could do a full review. And it would have been nothing like, unless there's like somebody that gets like really deep in the stuff. But the other like regular big channels that talk about Marvel stuff, they weren't gonna go as deep as I would have. And one of the big, because I was looking at themes that stood out. I had this whole thing I was gonna do on Killmonger, but the biggest thing that stood out was like, yeah, T'Challa is king and he's the Black Panther, right? But there wasn't, but he always had this strong group of supporting women to lift him up. He had his mother to lift him. T'Challa, show him who you are, right? He had his sister, to give him his gear. I called them sneakers, brother. I called them sneakers, right? He had Shuri. She was like, what's on Bond, right? James Bond has the person that gives him his gear. Shuri was that person, to give him his tech, right? And she had his back in the field, right? And then he had the Dora Milaje, right? He's got a whole like women, like special forces women who were his bodyguards and his protectors. And I guess he's supposed to marry one of them and take them for his wife. Like a Dora Milaje is supposed to become the queen of Wakanda, right? So it's kind of like breeding. Like you got the king who's the Black Panther, and then you take the most badass female from the Dora Milaje. They have a baby that's going to be the next Black Panther, right? So that's just something that just occurred to me, right? But throughout the entire movie, he, who's his counsel, who are everyone who's there, because his dad is gone, right? Now he goes to the ancestral field, and he can get advice and he can talk with his father, right? That's kind of the spirit walk that the Black Panther is able to do, right? And then you got the same thing with Killmonger, where he didn't have that, right? Well, we don't really hear anything about, well, where was Killmonger's mother, right? His father got killed, right? So how did Killmonger come up? And it's like the absence of that female presence in Killmonger's life sent him on a very different direction. And you look at how he treated women, like he had that bad chick who was his woman, right? And did he shoot her, or he let Claw kill her, and he just kind of tossed her to the side, like, she served her purpose, smash and dash on to the next one. What do Australians say? Rooted, tooted, and booted. Rooted and booted. So, like Killmonger had this totally different attitude towards women, and the Dora Milaje, they served him, but he was like, because he was the king, they were loyal to him, but he was like, I don't care. And then when they turned on him, and when T'Challa comes back, it's like he's fighting them, and they had no problem, jumping back, jumping back to the side of T'Challa, right? So, there was that whole element. So it's like, well, what happens here? And that's like, that's a question. Like, the women supported this person. He was a hero, but part of what made him a hero was the people who lifted him up, right? You fight Black Panther, you're not just fighting T'Challa, you're fighting everyone who supports him, which, was the Black Girl Magic, which I think made that movie very popular with women who don't watch all this MCU stuff, but they were going to see that. So if that's something that you liked about Black Panther, the first movie, you definitely should go see this movie, because I can't really say why without getting the spoilers. So now I'm ready to really talk about the movie. So yeah, if you guys, you're planning to see it, you don't want to be spoiled, y'all can peace out. I'll understand if, people on the live stream, if y'all drop off and I'm sitting here talking to myself, it's all good. I'll understand, right? All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wakanda! Is it coming back? All right, we back. All right. So yeah, we definitely are getting a faster internet. They have to like wire everything from the street all the way through our building, and like give me a personal internet connection apart from the rest of the building. So yeah, if I'm gonna do any more streaming, we got to get that done, because this is disconnecting and reconnecting and chopping up the video and everything else, right? So I'm not gonna just go through every scene by scene, but I'm just telling y'all that because that sets the stage for what I think is gonna be a story that's coming later. Everybody wants to get their hands on vibranium, and that's how Namor, and I don't want to call them the Atlanteans, because they're not Atlanteans in this movie. They're actually, I think they said like Mayans. They actually are like ancient. Well, I don't want to say ancient Mayans, but from like the 16th century. Is their tribe, if you don't know actual history, when Christopher Columbus discovered America, and then all the Spanish explorers came over, they gave the native people smallpox, and that's why there was an African. That's how the African slave trade started. Was they were like, well, we got to bring workers in to help us, Christianize the Americas, right? And all these Native Americans are dying off because we're bringing all kinds of illnesses, right? So the shaman of this particular tribe, he had a vision to search the ocean. He found a plant that had been affected by the same meteor that crashed in Wakanda and gave them vibranium, and he made a cure for the smallpox that was killing them. The only thing is that it took away their ability to breathe air. They turned them blue, and they had to, they could only breathe underwater. But Namor is the first mutant, right? So that's another movie that this is setting. This is setting up the X-Men, because now we've got mutants. Namor was a mutant who was also affected by, whatever their herb is that was affected by this vibranium meteorite. So I'll just say Atlanteans to keep it simple. So these Atlanteans, they're all strong, and of course they're affected by living deep within the ocean. So, they're physically stronger. But Namor got all of their gifts and the ability to breathe air, and then he had the wings on his ankles so he can fly, right? So this dude is supposed to be as strong as the Hulk, is what they said in the movie. Namor was dope. He was dope, and he was kind of scary, right? But anyway, so they have vibranium, and of course the United States is searching the oceans for vibranium, because this young scientist for a metallurgy class created a machine that could find vibranium anywhere. And we're going all spoilers here. So it was Riri Williams. Riri Williams is an MIT student and incredibly smart. Like, Shuri doesn't even know how Riri was able to create this machine that could pretty much find vibranium anywhere in the world. So she doesn't know that the United States has taken her machine that she made pretty much as a science fair project, and they're out, they find this ore of vibranium in the ocean, and Namor is not cool with that. So there's like 30 Navy SEALs and some CIA agents. They make quick work of them Navy SEALs. Like, they make quick work of them, and then they sank their little mining platform out to sea, and they deliver a message that to Namor delivers a message to Queen Ramonda and Shuri that, yo man, y'all, there, the United States is looking for vibranium. They think that you guys are the ones who killed their people, and they've got a machine. Here it is. And if they can find our vibranium, they're going to come looking for yours. And I think we need to form an alliance. You guys need to find this scientist and kill her, or deliver her to me so I can kill her, so they will never have another machine like this again, because I just want my people left alone. So that starts the whole adventure, right? We got to go find Riri Williams, or discover who she is, and then find the machine, and the process. And throughout this process, okay, so this is where Shuri's hero's journey comes in, because this is Shuri's movie, right? Queen Ramonda is gone through all the Wakandan spiritual processes for mourning T'Challa, but she says, there's something about your brother I need to tell you. She never gets to tell Shuri what it is. That's another spoiler, because later on, Namor kills Queen Ramonda, right? So Shuri has not gone through the proper grieving process, right? And it's like that's a huge thing. T'Challa's gone. We've got to move on, right? And Shuri's like, if I can't let go, and the way I feel right now, where I am, if I do anything, I'm gonna burn the world down, because my brother's gone. Like, he's been taken from me. And her big thing was, she felt like with science, with tech, she had all these gifts, right? She's extreme. She's one of the most smartest people on the planet, right? She could not save T'Challa, and she knew, if I could just give him the herb, I can save him. And the funny thing is, right, that she kind of has this bond with Namor. Like, it's really weird. Like, you could almost ship them together. Like, Namor and Shuri had this weird bond. And when Riri Williams and Shuri get taken by the Atlanteans, as I'm going to refer to them, Namor's people, right? They get there, they aren't hostile towards Shuri. They're like, you're a princess, you should be treated as such. Shuri wants to see where they live, like where they come from, who are these people? I want to know, right? And she's like, this is beautiful. Like, you have this underwater kingdom, and it's all built on using vibranium. We're really alike. We're black surface dwellers like you. And at some point, there's kind of this theme that, and I think Namor even says it, like, we're all people of color. And we're all different in the sense that we have this thing, this resource that these other nations want, right? And I mean, like, I mentioned that he was there at the start of the slave trade. That's actually where he gets his name from, because I was reading this on Reddit that people were upset. Some people, the people on that Reddit, were upset about Namor's origin being changed, and they're like, yo, this is where he gets his name from in the comic books, and if he doesn't say Rex Imperius, I'm out. Well, he does say Rex Imperius. I meant to look that up. I know it's King something, but he does say that line. But where this Namor gets his name from, he's like, my name is, what is it, to Kuka, my people call me to Kuka or something, the winged serpent god or something like that. But my enemies call me Namor. Is when he goes back to the surface to bury his mom after she dies, right? Namor is like 400 years older, something like that. And by this point, the slave trade is in full effect. He sees other people in chains, and they're getting beat by these Spanish conquistadors or missionaries and conquistadors and whatnot. And Namor kills all of them. And before he kills the priest, he says his line in Spanish, "E Namor," without love, right? So that's where the name Namor comes from, without love. He who is without love is why his enemies call him that, right? So that's Namor had a dope origin. Like, I give it to him. But this is really about Shuri's journey, Shuri's grieving process. And so, that brings us to the who becomes Black Panther. And I said I didn't want to see Shuri as Black Panther because I didn't feel like she was that alpha. She wasn't that dog, and they addressed that. She's not, right? She's not ready. While she's with Namor, and I said, that they had the shaman saw this plant deep underwater that's been affected by the meteorite that gave the Wakandans vibranium. That's, as soon as I saw that, I was like, a plant that's been affected by vibranium. Sounds a lot like the heart-shaped herb. What did we have this problem with at the start of the movie? T'Challa died because Shuri couldn't recreate the heart-shaped herb using tech. Well, Namor gives Shuri this bracelet, and the bracelet is woven from strands of a plant that has been infected by the meteorite that gives you vibranium. I'm just going to say the vibranium meteorite. So as I'm seeing this, the way my mind puts things together, I'm like, I wonder if Shuri could like extract that and figure out how to like recreate the heart-shaped herb, because that's what she was already trying to do, and that'll give her the missing pieces of the molecular structure that she couldn't like complete before. And that's what ends up happening. So, at this point, I told you Namor killed Queen Ramonda, and so at this point, Shuri's it, right? King T'Chaka's dead. Queen Ramonda's dead. King T'Challa's dead. There's no Black Panther, and now Princess Shuri is it. She's the last remaining survivor of the royal family, right? Killmonger's dead. Killmonger's father is dead. Who's left in the royal family? And a lot of people are like, "Yo, man, this person can be Black Panther." We'll see. The way I understood it, only members of the royal family could ingest the heart-shaped herb and not die. So I mean that. So it's like if you had a heart-shaped herb and Killmonger hadn't burned it all, right? Shuri's the only person who can take it unless like she figures out how to create a synthetic super soldier serum and gives it to one of the members of the Dora Milaje, right? So this is another thing. People wanted Killmonger. Killmonger should return and be the Black Panther. Now they were talking about, a Killmonger variant, and I mean we already had one of those in What If, and he wasn't much better than the Killmonger that Eric Killmonger that died in the main continuity, right, on the 616 Killmonger, right, or if call that other MCU number, Earth number, the real MCU Earth. I just feel like 616 is the designation for this is the canon, this is the continuity for this one. So from a different point of view, from the comic book point of view, the MCU is Earth is not 616, but from their point of view, it is, right? It's just, and they're looking like the comic book one is not 616. There's something else, right? So people get into that, waste time on that argument. I'm just like it 616 just means this is the main Earth from whatever point of view perspective the story is being told from, right? Anyway, Shuri takes the heart-shaped herb and she goes to the ancestral plane, but she sees Killmonger. Why? Because what is Shuri's? If she wants revenge, she was like, if I had a power, if I step up, if I do anything, I'm gonna burn everything, which is the same thing. Killmonger, Eric had everything taken from him, and he just wanted to burn everything. What did they say his training was? It was to go in the nations and destabilize them, not to build them back up, but to destabilize them. What did he plan to do? It was like, yo man, y'all got all this weapon, all this tech. Y'all could have made everyone else, y'all could have punished everyone else that, and people were like, Killmonger's right, Killmonger's right. And I was like, no, Killmonger's not right. Yeah, that sounds good, but then what? Right? What happens then? Killmonger's not a leader, right? He's Killmonger. It's in his name, right? Um, what happens after there's the big uprising? All right, we're gonna give vibranium weapons to all the black people and vibranium armor, and all right, now we done rose up and now is the world it's a black planet and not just a dating site or whatever Black BP is now. Now what we gonna do now? Right? Eric, what do we do now? Like you're our leader. Shit, I don't know, man. I just go in and make the war. I don't know what happens after that, right? So everybody would have been SOL, right? So no, Killmonger was never right, but he was right here because he was like, look, man, like this is this is who I am. This is what I was gonna do. Your father was a coward. This is what he did. Your brother was too noble, right? He had the chance to take out his enemies, but he let them live. He had a chance to take out Baron Zemo, right? But he let him live. He was too noble. He was, and what was the line from that his father said to him? It was like it's hard for a good man to be king, right? There's essentially what Killmonger was saying. But he's telling Shuri, he was like, you're the queen of Wakanda now. You're the Black Panther, right? What you gonna do now? Like what? Who? what kind of ruler are you going to be? What kind of protector are you going to be? Because you're not that you're not that person. It's not you. And so, it's like, so, I seen in the chat, one person was like, it doesn't give T'Challa fans what they want, because I said, they killed T'Challa off, and now, what do you say to all those recast T'Challa people? Just wait, just wait, just wait. All right, uh, so that's continuing Shuri's hero's journey. Right now, she's queen, and she's the Black Panther. Like, she comes out of the ancestral plane, her spirit walk, and she tells Nakia that it didn't work. Like, who did you see? She doesn't want to tell them that she saw Killmonger. She just says, I didn't see anything. Like, I passed out. It didn't work. And then she punches one of the little mannequin stuff, and it goes flying in, across the cave. And they're like, if it didn't work, how did you do that? So she's got the super strength. She's got the herb in her system, right? And she's talking about it didn't work. And this comes up again, like Nakia is like, who did you see? Like, she's really pushing, because Nakia knows something, right? So Queen Ramonda was kind of like the spiritual, I say in the hero's journey, there's always the wise person on the side of the road, right? So Queen Ramonda was that wise person, that kind of that spiritual guide for Shuri. But then Namor kills her, right? And for a while, Namor is kind of Shuri's conscience, right? But then it's like, well, he just killed, like, he just killed your mother. So now she's, yo, man, I'm smoking Namor. I'm gonna kill him. Like, I got to get revenge. Like, all right, my dad died, my brother's dead, now my mom is dead. You done wiped out the whole royal family except for me, right? I'm killing Namor, right? I got to figure out a way to kill him, right? And so, it's like Namor goes, it's like it shifts to Namor, because he's talking about revenge and vengeance and stuff, and we need to form an alliance and protect our vibranium. And the big area where they have their difference is that Namor is like, yo, man, whoever the scientist is that designed this machine that can find uh vibranium, we need to kill them. And then when Shuri finds out this is a girl, this Riri Williams, this little girl, man, I'm sorry for y'all that are like coming in now, because I'm like talking straight spoilers, where the first 20 minutes I was like, all right, this is the spoiler free version. So apologies, I guess I should have put spoiler, but I didn't think about that part. But yeah, I'm talking about straight up spoilers now. So if you don't want to be spoiled, it's cool. I understand. It's not too many. Catch me on the replay after you've seen the movie, right? Or maybe I'll go back and edit this video down and whatever. I don't know. I needed to do it live in case I get busy and don't get to it, and then that'll be two Black Panther movies that I never made a video on when I had a lot to say, right? So anyway, so I was saying Namor was kind of like, he had kind of shifted to that mentor to Shuri, right? And they had their big difference, because Shuri was like, yo, just let her come to Wakanda. We'll keep her in Wakanda. We don't have to kill her, right? Just keep her in Wakanda, and Americans, the rest of the world, that's it, right? Because Shuri's like, I finally got somebody who's like on my level, another, black girl magic, whatever, right? So like I was saying during the non-spoiler part, all the women who went out to see Black Panther and helped it make $1 billion, because all these black women were showing up for the movie for black girl magic, or they like Chadwick Boseman. Hopefully a little bit of both. This is a great reason to see the movie, because hey man, this is, if the first black, what's up Keandre, hey man, I shouted you out like earlier, as I was saying, we had a conversation about the movie on Monday when I was up in Chiang Mai, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll go see it on Wednesday, and maybe I'll find out how right or wrong I was about stuff I'd been saying about the movie. So I still don't know if I'm right, but the way it ended, I'm like, the stuff I was predicting, it's still possible, right? And so the people have been asking about, well, what do you say to all those recast T'Challa people? I was one of those recast T'Challa people, and like I said, Wakanda Forever gives all Black Panther fans what they want. Well, how does it give them what they want if you said at the very beginning of the movie they killed T'Challa, like for real? The character, he's dead, and the whole movie is around, he's dead, right? And Shuri's dealing with grief, right? And then her whole family gets killed, right? So it's coming. It's coming. All right. Um, like Namor and Shuri's big difference is how to handle Riri Williams, right? And that's what leads him to come to Wakanda and wreck. He flooded Wakanda, and Queen Ramonda actually died saving Riri Williams. Was they got these grenades that are like, they explode and water goes everywhere. So he flooded the palace, and and Riri Williams was unconscious. Queen Ramonda literally saved her from drowning, but she died pulling her out, like she ran out of air, and kind of last ditch effort, and they managed to resuscitate Riri Williams, and unfortunately Queen Ramonda passed, right? So Shuri at that point, she's, yo man, I'm killing Namor. And it's like, all right, so we're going into Act 3, the final battle, Wakandans versus um Namor and his people, and they figured out a way to weaken Namor, so that Shuri can kill him. And so that was like, so now Shuri, she's legit the Black Panther. And I was kind of nervous about this because I'm like, Shuri is not that, she's not that alpha dog, right? She she's just not. But she looked dope leading up to the final, because I'm like, how is she gonna beat Namor? This dude's supposed to be, they talking about he's as strong as the Hulk. But Shuri was impressive with the, as Black Panther. She did some cool stuff. She's agile, and it's kind of like, with some training, with the Dora Milaje, and now that she's the Black Panther, she's got like, they they really gave you the impression that you take the heart shaped herb, and it just takes you to a whole other level. Like, it's like, yo man, Shuri, scientist Shuri, she wouldn't be able to move like this and do this stuff, but like, she's up here flipping all over the place, and moving like, she's like moving like a real cat, and she's strong, right? And then she's got the tech too, like she had the little sonic blasters, the kid in her suit that, would, and so she's like doing all the stuff, and it's like, this is cool, man, but it's like, but she hasn't been training like that, like, just because you're literally a super soldier, you still got to have some skill, right? And I so she fights Namor, and it's like, it's I don't want to say it was not believable, but it was just kind of like, is Namor holding back? But then, well, no, he was weakened. I forgot. He was weakened, right? They figured out how to weaken Namor, because Namor, his skin has to be wet when it's, so they dried him out. They literally like dried him out, which weakened him. If his skin is not wet, then he can't. I guess he can't access his full, I don't know, mutant abilities, or the way his cells work, because he's a mutant. He draws it. Oh, his cells are able to draw additional oxygen to them, from water being on his skin. That's right. So they literally like tried to dry him out, and they heated him, and they put him in a dehydration chamber before she fought him. And he still, man, he beat the brakes off of Shuri. Like, even though like I said, this is spoilers. She ends up winning the fight and getting him to yield. Like, he almost killed her. He almost killed Shuri, and it was just, you know, Queen Ramonda from the ancestral plane. Show him who you are. Right? She kind of has that. She's like, yo, man, I can't die out here. But apparently the heart-shaped herb is able to make you heal fast or something. I didn't know that was a thing it did, but because technically Shuri should have died out there fighting Namor, but she managed to get him to submit. She could have killed him, and she spared him, and it went right back to where they began. Was, yo, man, we might need each other in the future. The rest of the world is looking for a resource that we have, and we would be stronger together than tearing each other down, is what she realizes. And so it's like she starts out Killmonger, but then she realizes that's not really who I am. My brother T'Challa is who I am, right? I'm noble too, and I'm not really sparing an enemy. This she initially went to him like, we can be allies. Well, if you'd seen the full video, I started out talking non-spoilers, and then I said, all right, now I'm diving into full spoilers. I'm just going to talk about everything. So, and that's the problem when you come in the middle of the video. Like I said, this is all spoilers, right? So, as I was saying, because I got to go to bed soon. It's 1 a.m. here, and I'm actually sleepy. Um, so so she spares Namor, and they go back. Namor's back home. He's gotten water on him, and he's healed up and everything. And Namora is she's like, I can't believe you took a knee to the Wakandans, the Wakandan princess, and this and that. And Namor is like, yo, man, I took a knee because Wakanda has, it's openly declared war on the rest of the world. Right? They've openly threatened the rest of the world, and the world is coming for them. And when the surface world comes, they're gonna call on us, because Namor's big thing is he wants to go to war with the surface world. That's what he said. He was like, I'm gonna kill this scientist. And if you Wakandans don't stop me, I'm gonna kill all of y'all. And when y'all are out of the way, there's no one with vibranium. There's no one who can stop us from wiping out the surface world. Right? He's declared war on the surface world because, like I said, it goes back to his origin story. His mother wanted to. After his tribe of people ingested their herb, and they couldn't live on the surface anymore. His mother got old. She missed life on the surface. So when she died, she's like, I want to be buried on the surface that I miss. So he took her there to bury his mother. He goes up and he sees, other members, other Mayans, being enslaved by the Spanish. And he just reaches this conclusion that the surface world is evil. Right. And that they're my enemies. Right. The Spanish gave him his name, Edenamor, he who is without love. And it's like, well, my mother loved me, my people love me, but the surface world hates me. And they call me this loveless person. Where I'm from, they see me as a god. And so he's declared war on the surface world, and he's like, well, to get what I want, I'm willing to take a knee to Shuri and the Wakandans if it helps us reach the goal that we have, is to conquer is to get rid of the surface dwellers. right? Now, does that mean, we're gonna again turn on Wakanda? I don't know, but I mean, like, I'm not a comic book guy, but from what I gathered, it's like the Wakanda and the Atlanteans have a love-hate relationship. Sometimes they're allies, sometimes they're enemies, right? They started out this movie, hey, we can be allies if we kill the scientists, if we kill Riri Williams, and then if anybody else, you guys keep us a secret. Don't tell anyone we exist, and get rid of the scientists, so to make sure that no one knows we exist, right? And then and he's like, we can be allies, we can be friends, and he says that to Shuri when she goes, well, when they capture her and Riri Williams. And then on top, if it wasn't for Namor, you wouldn't have any more heart-shaped herbs. So Shuri is able to regrow the garden, so there's more herbs growing there. That's really kind of the end of the movie, except all of this talk about, well, Prince, you were on team recast T'Challa, and you said this movie gives all Black Panther fans what they want. Well, remember when I was like talking about Queen Ramonda before she got killed? She said, there's something about your brother that I have to tell you. Some fans of the comic book story know that King T'Challa and Aurora Monroe, also known as Storm of the X-Men, are the power couple in Marvel Comics, or at least they were. So they were like, well, how do we get T'Challa with Storm if he's with Nakia, and we all love Lupita Nyong'o? Like, we don't want to get rid of her, but how do we get T'Challa and Storm together? And if I said Wakanda Forever gives all Black Panther fans what they want, well, what about that question? And when I said that if y'all saw my YouTube short where I was like, yeah, this sets up a whole lot of stuff. It sets up the Thunderbolts. It even sets up the X-Men. Well, how does that happen? Well, I mean, because Namor is apparently the first mutant in the MCU as far as timeline goes. No, if Apocalypse is around, I don't know. There's some X-Men shit that we probably won't get for. I'm gonna say. So I was talking to my brother earlier. That's why this is a live stream and not a regular video that I just upload. I'm meaning to upload the video, but my brother had a bunch of questions to ask me, and I said I think there's gonna be a time skip somewhere after Phase 5, maybe. And I said, I don't want to tell you why. You'll just have to wait until the end of the movie to know why. And I think it's going to be a long time before, maybe like 10 years before we really get the X-Men together. And that's because, well, apparently we can have T'Challa and Storm together as a couple. And apparently we will get T'Challa recast. How does that happen? Well, you see, T'Challa and Nakia sometime after the first Black Panther movie, when we see them together, right? And so when T'Challa gets and before Avengers Infinity War, I don't know how much time passed between Black Panther and Infinity War, but it was enough time for Raw. We're all adults here, you know. I'll let, if y'all aren't picking up on what happened. So they were knocking some boots, and so there was a thing in the movie that for some reason Nakia got banished to Haiti, or she left Wakanda and went to Haiti, except she went there because T'Challa didn't want his son to be raised in the court with the pressure of being the son of the king. So so when Shuri's there, and Nakia's like, yo, well, I've got something that I really need to tell you. This is my son, Toussaint, right? And Shuri's like, oh, that's a good name. Oh yes, Toussaint. She was like, Toussaint, this is your aunt Shuri. She was like, aunt. She was like, yes. So before T'Challa disappeared, I came here and he wanted me to stay here. And, after, and he already had us prepared for what would happen, if anything were to happen to him. And, and so the real reason I didn't come to the funeral, because that was a big, why didn't you come to the funeral? How could you not come to my brother's funeral? Is you know what you meant. I know what you meant to each other. Why didn't you come to the funeral? And it's like, well, T'Challa had us prepared already for when he wouldn't be here. And so he wanted me to raise Toussaint here away from Wakanda until the time was right. So, I need you to keep this secret until the time is right. Then she was like, Toussaint, is there something else you want to tell your aunt? She was like, oh yes, Toussaint, this is my Haitian name. My real name is T'Challa, son of King T'Challa. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was like, we saw it in 4D and 3D. So we're in a 4D theater where the seats shake and all kind of stuff, like Namor's throwing water on people, water's spraying all over us and all kinds of shit. It's crazy, man. My wife loves these 4D movies. She's listening to me, but man, sometimes I be like, man, they doing too much in this movie theater, man. Like, people getting shot in the face and this stuff, shooting you out of the seats and all kinds of stuff. But then we wearing 3D glasses too, on top of it being a 4DX movie, right? So I'm like, man, I don't want to take these 3D glasses off because I might start crying in here, man. Because it's like, so if you missed all of that, T'Challa has a son named T'Challa, right? And when I said I think there's going to be a time jump, it's because you've got to give Toussaint enough time to grow up. And then on top of that, Nakia is his mother. So she's training him to eventually be the Black Panther. So you've got a Black Panther who's going to be trained from the time he's a little kid, a T'Challa, to grow up to be T'Challa, King of Wakanda, Black Panther, the dude who marries Storm. So Storm is a little kid somewhere right now. That's why I was like, it's probably gonna be 10 years before we see the X-Men, or there's a time jump, because you got to give little Toussaint, aka T'Challa, you know, Prince of Wakanda, enough time to grow up. Now you also got this whole thing where, what's his name? The dude, the chief of the Jabali tribe, he challenged Shuri, but she's in Haiti, so she doesn't know that he challenged her, right? So that's a thing that's gonna, I don't know where they're gonna pick it up. That was the mid credit scene. There's no post credit scene after that. I didn't. I was, where you're always expecting one, but I'm like, the way they wrap that up, this movie is a eulogy to Chadwick Boseman and his character T'Challa, and it's like, but T'Challa will rise again, right? And that was very beautiful to me. I'm not gonna lie, I really did almost cry during that part, at the very end. And then on top of that, like they really had like this Rihanna song playing, and Shuri, and during that mid credit, before the mid credit scene, they're rolling the credits, and it's when Shuri's burning her the funeral attire, right? That was a big part of the movie, was Shuri refused to burn her funeral attire because she's still mourning, and they're like, this is a spiritual process, this is you cleansing yourself. And it's like Shuri couldn't do it until the very end. And then it's like, and it's almost like the audience too, because I'm like, I can't believe, I'm sitting there the whole time like, I can't believe they killed T'Challa, and I don't want to see Shuri as Black Panther. Like I was telling Keandre, because people have been getting on me. You just don't want to. You ain't women. You don't. And I'm like, all right. First off, I'm not one of them dudes that's crying about the MCU. For those of y'all who weren't on at the start, um, my wife is at this point maybe 5.5 months pregnant. I have trouble keeping up with it. We didn't even know until last month when she was 4 months pregnant. We're having a little girl, Acolyte baby, and so as far as like all these female superheroes, the MCU, I'm like, yo, man, I'm trying to raise a daughter, a young woman, to be the hero of her own story. So, like, to be able to sit down with her one day and show her Shuri, okay, first here's her brother, and he's the Black Panther, and then he dies. Well, Daddy, why? What happened? I was like, well, the real man who played him, he died for real. He had cancer and nobody knew it. And in the movie, T'Challa died from an unknown illness that nobody knew until it was too late. And his sister tried to save him, but she couldn't. And then look, now she's a superhero, right? And then but the man, he had a son that nobody knew about, and maybe by the time she's older, old enough to start to understand and ask questions, it's like, well, he's the superhero, but Shuri, she stepped up during that time, and then I guess I have to show her Spectrum, Black Captain Marvel or something. Actually, it should be half Asian. They need to come. The Marvel needs to come through with the Asian girl superheroes now, right? They need to come through with an Asian woman superhero, right? So I can check all of her boxes off. All right, here's the black girls. Here's black girl magic. Here's Asian girl magic, right? But anyway, I mean, I was like, and it's not, I don't want to see Shuri as Black Panther. I just didn't feel like they did enough to build her up. Like she wasn't, that alpha dog in the first movie. And then in the second one, it's like, okay, well, whether, and they address it, it's like, well, whether we want it or not, it's happening, and whether she wants it or not, it's happening, right? Because she didn't even want it, and it was like, I don't have a choice, and then I'm doing it strictly out of vengeance, to seek vengeance. And so with Shuri's story, it's, well, she's got the gift, but now she's got to learn, what does this mean, right? Because they still have, you're the queen now. What does it mean to be queen? And you're the Black Panther. You're the protector. What does that mean, right? You just had it thrust upon you, where your whole life you were expecting it to be your brother, and you were the person who wasn't interested in following tradition. But now, whether you want it to or not, whether you like it or not, you got, this is your life. You got to deal with it, and you got to learn as you grow, right? And then on top of that, now she's got the Jabali tribe challenging her for the leadership of Wakanda. And it's like, how do you beat this guy when they remove, and now I have stripped you of the powers of the Black Panther, right? Whenever Shuri returns to Wakanda, she's got to deal with this challenge. How does she fight this guy when without that, she's the little girl who works in the lab? Is she going to use some kind of tech? Are they going to allow that? Or so that's something that's going to play a part in the, people are going to challenge her now. She's got to actually learn how to fight for real. And that was my big thing about, like, it's not, I don't want to see Shuri as Black Panther. I don't want to see a woman be Black Panther. It's that I don't feel like she never trained for that, right? She never, I'm kind of sounding like the Star Wars argument, but it is different because Rey had the Force and always had the Force, and she had been learning how to fight, right? She'd been fighting on Jakku. It's not the same. For Shuri's been in a lab, right? She hadn't been training with Dora Milaje, right? Or she didn't show any signs of that when we saw her. She just, all right, I got this herb, right? And so it's interesting where she's got to use her intellect, but the big thing with her, where I said this in other videos before, is that where I understood Shuri in the comic book is that eventually uh she T'Challa takes the role back, the mantle back, and Shuri uh has this supernatural, uh this mystical aspect to her, where Shuri in the comic books, if she's the also a tech genius there, and then for a while she actually, in the comic book story, when Shuri first tries to take the herb, Bast rejects her. So she has to, whatever the story is, the adventure is there, she's Black Panther, but she's not Black Panther because Bast rejects her, right? I appreciate that. And so she's got to do everything, but she doesn't have the blessing of Bast, of the Panther God, to aid her, right? And so they haven't really touched on that in MCU. It's more when she sees Killmonger, I felt like that was uh, Ryan Coogler's way of like of touching on that not being accepted by Bast, but like I started out saying, but we have seen Bast, the actual Panther goddess, was in Moon Knight. I think maybe just an avatar or statue or idol, but then we actually see Bast in Thor, in Thor: Love and Thunder, in the scenes with Zeus and all. Like Bast is there, right? So where Moon Knight introduces idea of like this Egyptian pantheon, whatever they call themselves, they have avatars. I feel like that Shuri character is would probably move in that direction of becoming an avatar of Bast. So it's like she's a Black Panther still, but not the Black Panther. That would be young Prince T'Challa when he grows up. And all along, that's what I was saying I want to see. I'm like, all right, well, y'all deal with whatever you're going to deal with in this story where Chadwick Boseman is gone, and whatever you're going to do with T'Challa. If Shuri has the mantle for now, but I want to see that character further fleshed out and developed, right? Because, right, what about she hadn't embraced the traditions? What about the religion around Bast? Like the Black Panther, the first Black Panther, the king was some kind of a shaman, right? They've got the ability to spirit walk, but what if you really touch on this other aspect of Bast? And on top of that, like, you got Kang coming, and whatever comes, what I think they're talking about Galactus, and whatever the Eternals is setting up, where you got these Celestials and all, and like cosmic powered threats, right? How does like Namor is supposed to be some kind of a god, even though he got beat by little Princess Shuri in the heart shaped herb. Um, but if he managed to stay wet, I don't know how that would help him trying to fight somebody in space. But who knows? Maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody follows him around, shoots him with a water gun. Well, he's got Adam Sandler's water boy following him around. That's some high quality H2O. I don't know. But with all of these other threats, like, how does a Black Panther fit in? And so I'm like, you've gotta level up some of these people. I mean, Shuri can always, that's the thing, is she's smart, so she can always play a part in other stories with her mind. But I don't know, it's just questions I have. And then on top of that, outside of when we talk about the real world, like Letitia Wright got hurt. I guess she got hurt doing some of these fight scenes. Um, it could have been, I don't know, it could have been that motorcycle crash on the bridge when they first fought, trying to protect Riri Williams from being abducted. But it could have also been, the final fight against Namor. I'm thinking it was probably that car crash, because that was. But it's like, why wouldn't you have a stunt person doing that fall? it was a pretty bad fall. When you see the movie, who know? I don't know what she was working on when she got hurt, but she got hurt, and then there was the whole drama with, of course, that hopefully won't happen again with her. I don't remember if she didn't want to follow COVID protocols or if she posted stuff online about the pandemic, but it was like she was in trouble for stuff. So it was like, yo, man, like, are you gonna be able to keep her in this role because she won't act right or what? Like, I don't know. So those are, the movie made it to the cinema, and I thought it was dope. Like I said, this is not like any other Marvel movie I've seen. Um, I feel like if somebody's not really, and this is a negative, but if somebody's just not really into these movies, they're probably not gonna like it because the movie, there's a lot of exposition, right? They're dealing with T'Challa's dead. I mean, it's just fact of the matter. He's dead. And there's a lot of words being said. There's a lot that impact of his death is heavy. It like is throughout the movie. Like all the way to the end credits, right? It's like a Rihanna song playing and it's about like mourning. And as it's playing, you're seeing a close up. It was very beautiful, but still like Shuri burning her funeral stuff. So it's like, all right, we've accepted that he's dead and it's time to, life goes on, right? And then you get this bit of hope, like, well, Chadwick is gone, we can't bring him back, but we can bring back T'Challa the character, right? And through his son, that that's here through Toussaint, whose Wakandan name is T'Challa, right? Which is a very happy way to end the movie, right? Because it's still kind of, I mean, when it ends, it's like Namor is talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna form an alliance with the Wakandans, and we're still gonna kill all the surface dwellers. Well, that's not good. And then you go to Wakanda, and everybody, oh da da da, oh da da da, and everybody's celebrating, and then you know the chief of the Jabari tribe is, I challenge Queen Shuri, for the throne. And it's like this guy again, you know, he's trying to make a power play. Shuri just happens to not be there. She's in Haiti, so what happened? What's the deal with that challenge, right? Like, how's she gonna beat this big old dude? Even though Namor beat the brakes off of him, that was funny. He was like, "We killed this flying waterman. That's his solution. Kill the fish man, right?" And he thinks he's gonna kill Namor, and crack. That's when they're like, Namor is as strong as the Hulk. Right? Um, I like the actor that plays that character, but I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. But so there's like it's like, yo, man, this is heavy. That's kind of the epilogue, right? It's like Namor is still talking about going to war with the surface dwellers, but now the Wakandans are his ally. Well, it's more like he says the surface dwellers are coming for the Wakandans because they fear them, and they still don't know about the Atlanteans. Like, they kept them a secret. The Wakandans did. They didn't tell anybody. Um, and I mean, what's her name? The chick, Elaine from Seinfeld. Like, she makes it more completely obvious that uh the Americans want vibranium. They want their own vibranium, right? Which pretty much everybody wants vibranium. So it's like this arms race to get to get vibranium, right? Everybody wants it. And so it's like they're going to be coming for the Americans. Now, nobody knows that there's a new Black Panther. They know that Queen Ramonda died because it was on CNN of all places. Um, but they don't know there's another Black Panther. They don't know about Namor and not the Atlanteans that aren't the Atlanteans, but I'm calling them that because I forgot what they're called in the movie. Um, Tukukin. That's the name was the Tukukin. They called him Tukukin. The the feathered winged serpent god. Right. Um and so it's like, yo, man, there's this was a cool story, but there's a lot of heavy stuff going on here, and then you get kind of this thing of hope, like Black Panther will return. T'Challa Black Panther will return, right? He just has to grow up first. Um and you know, there's so much exposition. They have to flesh out this story. And so many people are dealing with so much stuff, right? Riri Williams, Shuri, Queen Ramonda's mourning. She lost her husband and her son, and then she loses her life. And then there's this whole thing going on with members of the Dora Milaje, right? And we see that. And then they kind of have those different members. Oh, and you know, then there's people who wanted to see the gay Dora Milaje couple. They're gay in the comic books. They're gay in the movie too, and they kiss. And so people who want to see that, they get that. Like I said, I feel like Wakanda Forever gives all Black Panther fans what they want to see. They answer all the questions. And like I said at the start of this, the questions that you walk out of the movie with are questions that the movie creates for you. It's like, I have more questions. Well, this is Marvel, and we're going to be making movies for a while, and TV shows, and streaming series. So if you have more questions, then come back and go watch the next thing, right? And so, the Riri Williams Ironheart series is supposed to be a direct sequel to this. Oh, and Riri Williams does build her Iron Man suit on Wakanda from vibranium, and then Shuri's like, yo, when I let you go home, you can't keep the suit. And so the big question, of course, you know, who cares about Riri Williams at this point? But then the question is, well, if she's going to have this show called Ironheart, how does she get another suit? Does she build a new one? I mean, like, does Shuri give her suit back? Like, what's going on there? And then, you know, and I think the big thing here is that uh the CIA and like I said, Americans want vibranium, and Riri Williams knows how to find it. So now they're going to be looking for her. Like, we want another machine. We want to know how to get vibranium, and you know, we want you. So it's like, well, people are going to be coming after her now once her name gets out. That she's the person who built the machine that could find vibranium, and she's gonna have to protect herself. And then she understands how to build Stark Tech. So there's a whole story there where her story could go in a different direction. Is like all that stuff Spider-Man had. You know, what if Pepper Potts finds out about her, and she's like, hey, Tony would want you to have this. He left it to some other kid, but I don't know, Paul, Peter, Pumpernickel, whatever. I don't remember this kid. But there was some guy, and I don't know what happened to him. So, you know, I think Tony would rather you have all of this stuff, and come to Stark Industries or whatever it's called, and play around. Waste your time here at MIT. These nerds. So I'm interested in the Ironheart series more than I was before, just because it's the direct sequel to Wakanda Forever. So maybe we find out, you know, where's this story going as far as the arms race for vibranium. So that's is the Thunderbolts movie going to deal with that? I don't know, but um, Elaine from Seinfeld, Julia Louise Dreyfus, whatever her character's name is. Um, oh yeah, and we find out that Martin Short, CIA character, they used to be married, so that's a little. They used to be married. Uh, and yeah, so that's my talk about the movie. Like I said, I'm glad that I went to see it. I was gonna Disney Plus it, but I'm definitely glad I went and saw it. Uh, I'm glad I was able to have this conversation with you guys. I'm sorry, my brain is kind of stuttering now because it's 1:30 in the morning here in Thailand. So I'm gonna go shower and go to bed. I didn't even mean to talk this long. I was like, yeah, if I record this video, I could do it in 20 minutes. If I live stream, I could probably do it in 30 minutes. Um, but I answered a few questions and got on a few tangents, and that's how it is. But yeah, those of y'all who listen to all the spoilers, uh, shame on you. But go see it because you know I can talk about it, but you, if you liked what you heard, go see it, man. Because being able to picture it, what I'm saying, is a whole lot better. At least for me, it is. So, um, you know, don't don't just take my word for it. Definitely go see it. Go check out the movie. But yeah, I'm gonna label this a off the dome episode because I really did go off the dome. I had no notes, no nothing. Y'all can't see my screens, but there's nothing on the screens. There's my OBS screen here. There's the live stream here. There's my desktop on this monitor, and that's it. And there's no notes, anything. My phone is blank. But yeah, like I said, for real, go see this movie. It's not like any other Marvel movie. There's never been a Marvel movie that eulogizes both the character and the universe and the actor. Um, and yeah, I'm so happy that they really are gonna recast T'Challa and that we will have another T'Challa as Black Panther. It won't be Chadwick Boseman, but a new actor, whoever the actor is who comes in when Toussaint grows up, they don't have to feel like I've got to be Chadwick Boseman. It's this is a new T'Challa. I can be my own character, and I don't want to say, yo, man, we can bring in somebody even bigger and better, but you know, nobody's gonna be able to replace what Chad was. But we can say that dude was his dad, and he was very noble, and this other person can make mistakes, and we can also deal with this story where I'm literally trying to live up to Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa. That can be baked in, like, well, I was with my father, but not really, because I was born and then he got snapped away, and then he came back and I'm 5 years old, and I spent a little bit of time with him, but then he died, and I never really got to know him. And you can bake that all into the story of this actor who's trying to live up to another actor's role, but that actor is, like, he's my son. I'm trying to follow in my father's footsteps. You can bake that into the role. That's Ryan Coogler is a freaking genius, man, to do that. It's awesome. And I hope I'm here to see it. And I hope, like I said, I hope they deal with Shuri and dealing with the spiritual aspect of her character, and that this whole thing with Bast, because you already showed Bast and you got Moon Knight, and I'm thinking you're gonna deal more with that. Moon Knight's supposed to come back later, and you've already introduced this Egyptian pantheon. Like, I hope they really deal with that, and you could bring Shuri back into that as the Black Panther, and it's something more where she, all right, I'm gonna leave this mantle of the Black Panther to become something more, and I'm Queen Shuri, and I'm the shaman, and I'm the avatar of Bast, the Panther goddess, and because I know I'm keeping this secret that Toussaint is out there, is being raised by not his mother Nakia, and he will eventually, you know, become the Black Panther, right? And I'm something more, right? That's what I'm hope. That's my prediction for these characters and where I hope they go, right? And then uh, you got the two members of Dora Milaje that got like this super suit, the Shuri design that would help them be able to fight. That would help them be able to have super strength and abilities to stand physically against Namor's people. So that's a whole interesting other thing. Is why you have to see the movie. There's stuff I didn't completely talk about. Why you should see the movie. Other people that have character arcs. Why you should see the movie. Right. If I wasn't doing this after midnight, I probably remembered to talk about that. But that's really all I got to say, y'all. For real, I gotta go to bed. I'm gonna be feel like mush in the morning. I gotta work on my other channel. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Go see Black Panther this weekend, Wakanda Forever. I want to see it get make $1 billion again. I did my part. My wife saw it, my stepson saw it, so I paid for 3 tickets to see it in 4DX and 3D, which meant it cost about as much as it costs to see a regular movie in America. International movie tickets cheap over here. It's like $3 to go see a movie, unless you go see it in, you know, go see it at some theater where they serve you pizza and sit on a couch, watch it in a bed. And I'm saying, we really have movie theaters like that. They have a bed in there, the couch, and you sit on that, and you order off a menu. You got waiters coming in there and all kinds of stuff, man. Asians do movies different, man. Anyway, y'all, for real, I gotta go to bed. And there's a funny thing in my household. If I stay up late working, nobody goes to sleep. It's like they're waiting for me to go to sleep. So like, I'm pretty sure my wife is not asleep yet. I know my stepson in there on the phone talking to the honeys. I'm gonna have to get his big head butt off the phone, go to bed, so I can go to bed. So yeah, it's time for me to time for the boss to tell everybody to go to sleep, and I can't do that till I get off of here. So y'all enjoy your day. Uh, I think the movies will start showing Black Panther in about 5 6 hours. What was the son's Haitian name? Toussaint. Toussaint. Yep. And that's where I'm gonna leave y'all. So y'all have a good one. À tout à l'heure for you Haitians and French speakers out there. And au revoir and good night. Y'all keep on breathing. May the force of others be with you always.